What's up, everybody? It's Keefe at GhostCultMag.com. I am back with another weekly ritual, your one-stop shop for rock and metal news every week here on the web. Getting more and more of my studio space together. I finally got my key light on. I know Omar will be proud of me. I'll make you proud someday, Dad. I promise, man. But yeah, I'm back. We're gonna do the damn thing, and yeah. I hope everybody is having a good week so far. Got a little getaway planned where I'm going to pet sit this weekend, so I'm pretty stoked about that. If you're new here, GhostCultMag.com is your independent source for rock and metal journalism. We are live every week here, but also 24/7 on all the socials, all the things. And it has been a week in the music world. We have a lot of shit to talk about. Records to live by. What's up? I'm going to take a sip of my Convicted Melon Liquid Death out of my Run COC koozie. As I like to say every week at this juncture, this is your show also. So, feel free to be seen and heard. Drop comments, chat, chop it up, comment on the stories we talk about. As I take the most unnatural sip ever from a drink. Ooh. Where are you watching from? If you're watching this, we're streaming everywhere: Twitch, Instagram, YouTube, of course, on our multiple YouTube channels, Facebook and TikTok. Drop a comment where you're checking in from, and where, tell us what you do. Corey Westbrook is here. I Love Gore is here. I love Gore too. I love Gore. Been a fan for a very long time. All right, let's do the damn thing. Every week we have a little presentation that goes along with this live stream. This is just to help keep us on track. That's what I do. That's why I do what I do. Let's do all the things. All righty. We always start with the announcements, and it has been a very heavy bunch of weeks in the music world. On the plus side, tomorrow is my 3-week marriage-versary. I am married for 3 weeks. Tomorrow, we are just over the moon, super happy. Illustrious Booge is here. What's up? Long time no see, Illustrious Booge. I'm super stoked. We got some of our wedding pictures published and printed for ourselves and friends this week, and they just look amazing. They took our breath away when they came in the mail, and just beyond happy with that. What's up, Glow? Good to see you. Also, it's the 1-year anniversary since I met one of my hetero life mates and my podcast buddy, Don DeLamont, in person. Don and his wife, Lizzie, came here to San Francisco to see the Grateful Dead play their final Dead and Company shows ever with Bob Weir. Remains to be seen if they're going to come back without Bob, probably. But it was great to hang out with Don. And then 3 years ago this week, I saw the U.S. kickoff of the Metallica M72 tour, which has now come to a close other than their upcoming residency at the Sphere. And this is 2 of my dearest friends in the world, my best man at my wedding and my best friend, Curtis Dunlap, and my homie, Francis, big concert buddy from back home. Listen to Evils is here. Hi, love. I was just talking about, I don't know if you caught the beginning of the show, I was just talking about getting some of our wedding pictures in the mail and how they took our breath away. How much I love you. And Q is here. What's up, Q? Hopefully you just caught that photo I just shared. Word. All the things. Just a reminder, thanks to everybody who commented, signed up, and attempted to win our giveaway for our AC/DC VIP pop-up experience. I went and had a great time. They played San Francisco this week. Took a bunch of photos. There's some social media pictures and stuff and posts on there. And also, there'll be a website post too. Definitely go check out the tour if you get a chance to. This is probably their last go around. And they're doing this pop-up shop in every major city. Also, here's some photos from that. Maybe I'll just blow this up for a few minutes. There we go. Look at me, my homie Pedro. looking like rock stars. Lots of fun there. Lots of fun. Thanks for everybody who's watching on the Tube of You and also on the Gram and TikTok. Thanks again. If you're watching from somewhere, drop a comment. Tell me where you're watching from. Matt and Snotface and Ali G and Kitty Kitty, everybody that's watching, Cody Grantham. Thanks for watching. Tell us where you're watching from. We like to know. Again, our current album of the month is the Butthole Surfers' comeback album, their lost album after The Astronaut. Really awesome. I've got a great interview with Paul Leary. Please go check that out because YouTube is shadow banning that interview because of the name Butthole Surfers. That band has only been around since the freaking early 80s, 40-something years. Kind of stupid. But anyway, do check that out, and we'll likely have a new album of the month up next week because I'm going to do our staff poll this weekend. Once again, just heartbroken over the loss of Lou Keller of Sick of It All. His funeral was this week, and there was this incredible floral arrangement with the Sick of It All dragon logo. New York hardcore has lost a star, which, just heartbreaking. And also, Jennifer Finch would have celebrated her 60th birthday this week, but she died just a few weeks ago, right around the same couple of days as Lou. They were actually friends. Just a big loss in the world of punk rock and everywhere else. We are still sharing some GoFundMe action and some meal train fundraising for a bunch of people going through it right now, and the families of some folks who passed away. So go check that out in the description if you have some shekels to spare. I know it's tough all over right now. Tough all over. Continuing on, another loss is the original Rosie the Riveter passed away this week at almost 100 years old. An incredible story. The actual inspiration for the We Can Do It posters. Just an inspiration. On a more positive note, celebrating some birthdays this week. I always love to do a little, we love to do a little metal history this week in metal history. Max Cavalera celebrated a birthday this week. Love Max and his whole family. Buddy Guy turned 90 years old this weekend. Incredible. Youngblood celebrated his 29th birthday yesterday. Bruce Dickinson's birthday is tomorrow or today, depending on where you're watching this, if you're overseas. Steph Carpenter celebrated a birthday this week. This is an awesome shot from Sick New World 2022 by Kim Hansen. Also a shot by Kim Hansen of Monkey from Korn celebrating a birthday this week, James Schaefer. And also just from the world of incredible movies, Michelle Yeoh, you know her most from Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and Everything Everywhere All at Once, and Shang-Chi, The Legend of the Ten Rings. She celebrated a birthday this week also. Super cool. Albums celebrating a birthday this week include AC/DC's Highway to Hell, the one record they did not have at the AC/DC pop-up that I would have bought. Yo, Slayer Swine is here. What's up, Jim? I'm going to get that review posted tonight, finally. Sorry, it's been a couple of days. Thanks for chiming in. Def Leppard Hysteria, a tape that did not leave my Walkman in the 80s. I love that shit so much. What's up, Jim? I hope you're good, brother. Amon Amarth, Great Heathen Army, was released this week in metal history a few years ago. That's their most recent album. They already have a new album coming out soon. The All Father Awakens. I got a nice little watching crew here over on the TikToks. What's up, y'all? Accepts the Rise of Chaos came out this week in metal history. Definitely worth checking out. We have some Accept news coming up soon. Testament's classic third album, Practice What You Preach, a record I love a lot. Whitechapel this is a great album from them. Kind of again, their two albums recently released in the summertime releases, and this the earlier real strong death metal stuff I'm much more of a fan of. As always, if you're feeling tipsy, feel free to drop a tip in the tip menu. I will drop that in the comments. If you're feeling tipsy, Ghost Cult is an independent DIY organization. We have always been. We will always be free. But as you're finding out this week, the music journalism world took a huge black eye. Well, Cindy Massey is watching on Facebook. What's up, Cindy? Just brutal, and we're going to get into that when we do the top of that news rundown. But yeah, there's our Cash App if you feel like buying us a coffee on Ko-fi or supporting us or being a real one. We are always looking for help. But yeah, let's talk about some features this week. Beside that AC/DC giveaway, and we'll be doing more giveaways soon. Chris Elliott, we have an expanded staff now interviewing a bunch of bands, so me and Omar don't have to do it all. Chris Elliott interviewed Matt Harvey from Left to Die, also from Exhumed, also from Gruesome, also from his solo work, also from a bunch of other stuff he's been doing lately. The guy is tireless, and we've interviewed him a lot here at Ghost Cult. He's been super cool with us. He's also one of the world's biggest Metallica fans, by the way. You wouldn't know it from the extreme death metal that he does. But Left to Die is basically a death tribute band and a death tribute album where they re-recorded and did like a modernization of the original demos of Death when they were called Mantis. And just super, super cool. Ronald Peruvian Percussion, what's up? Really great interview. Go check out Chris talking to Matt. And Chris is going to be doing a lot of stuff with us soon. Nobody's a bigger fan than you, Chicharron. I'm a big Chicharron's fan. But yeah, I hear you, man. I hear you. Matt would give you a run for your money. I'm also a huge Metallica fan, going on, 40 years. Junius, I interviewed Joseph Martinez, about my third interview in my career with him, second for Ghost Cult. They put out their first record in 6 or 7 years. Sotera, which is out now on Prosthetic Records, if you like post-rock and post-metal and droney guitar stuff. And it's a really deep interview, and I mean that. Like, Joseph is brilliant, and we got into some very heady philosophical stuff on top of the music. Really cool stuff. Do you think if you named your band Chicharron, you'd get people following you? I would follow you. I'll follow you anyway. If anybody who follows Ghost Cult during these lives, I go back when it's over and I catch up and I follow everybody back. So go ahead and name your band Chicharron. That's awesome, bro. Recent other interviews, I interviewed Kevin Camo of Crownlands, the prog rock band. Tim Leedon interviewed Blythe from No Cure, if you like the punchy hardcore stuff. We've got a little bit of something for everybody. Also, in addition to this show being a podcast, I have another podcast called the Glacially Musical Podcast, Beer, Metal, and Swearing. We have started a new series on Guns N' Roses. Last week we did Appetite for Destruction. This week, going live overnight tonight, is our podcast on the very controversial and much debated about GNR Lies. Is it a live album? Is it an EP? Is it unplugged? What is it? Is it terrible? Is it great? I don't know. We talk about it. Check it out. And there's our thumbnail for our Appetite for Destruction cover, which was amazing too. Great job done on these covers. They're just so rad. I love them so much. Yeah, we do a lot of craft beer and vinyl collecting, and then we do series on bands. So pretty cool. Just once again, a reminder, especially with all the stuff going on this week in the music world, all the difficulties is to do this. Ever since the global shutdown in 2020, we have been giving a shout out every video interview on our YouTube and podcast. We name check a cool underground band or a label or a store or a DIY organization or .org, just in a way of using our voice to amplify the voices of others. That's what we do. Thanks, Chicharron. I appreciate you keeping your eyes peeled, pal. I appreciate it. So yeah, you can get if you basically follow us on Instagram and follow us on YouTube especially, subscribe, and screenshot it and DM us. Make sure our DMs are always open. Make sure yours are too. We will put you in the rotation for a shout out. And a lot of people have told me they found cool bands, especially because of the GC shout out. All right, it's time for the news rundown. As always, we start the news rundown by talking about metal festivals, and we are covering a metal festival this weekend. Our team is in England covering Bloodstock open air. I'm not there, but we have an awesome team there of Bill Maudsley and Gary Alcock from the UK. Today was Saxon and Cryptopsy and just Evil Scarecrow and tremendous bands. And then the weekend continues tomorrow. This is an unbelievable murderer's row of bands. Lamb of God, Sepultura, Municipal Waste, Biohazard, Fit for an Autopsy, Life of Agony, Party Cannon, Wednesday 13, Shining. I mean, that's crazy. Saturday is Slaughter to Prevail, Bleed from Within, Nevermore's first UK show in like 15 years. North Lane, who we have some news about them in a bit. Vended, Urn, Leprous, Death Angel, Sanguisugabog, and many more. And then Sunday closes it out with the great Judas Priest on their 50th anniversary tour. Fucking Nathaniel is here, also on Instagram. What's up, fucking Nathaniel? Body Count, Black Label Society, Testament, Orbit Culture, Kitty, Castle Rat, Carpenter Brute, 200 Stab Wounds, Mushroom Head, and many more. We have covered Bloodstock Open Air just about every single year of its existence. This is their 25th anniversary show. Every year of its existence that Ghost Cult has been around. This is the 15th anniversary of Ghost Cult this year, I think. 14 going on 15. Crazy. Maybe we'll do something special for it. So Bloodstock, super pumped for this. Coming up in a couple of more weeks is Arctangent Festival. We're deeply hoping to cover this as well. Primus is a first-time headliner of Arctangent, along with Chelsea Wolf, new album coming out just in time for this festival. Cult of Luna and Julie Christmas celebrating 10 years of Mariner. I saw the Mariner shows 3 times around the world in 2018 and 2019. Igor, Napalm Death, Seek, Perturbator, Cat Pile, High on Fiverr, Alcest, Oathbreaker, Age and Fresco, Conjurer, Svalbard, and what I believe is their last show ever, Brutus, Amplifier, Joe Quail, a Ghost Cult favorite, Psychonaut, a Ghost Cult favorite, Dark Her, Town Portal, amazing. I feel like Town Portal is named for like Diablo or World of Warcraft also. Anyway, Arctangent Festival, always something to behold. I know they just announced they have to move to a new location next year, so we'll see how they fare. Interesting. Hordes X Fest is coming up in September, still headlined by De Profundis. They added a bunch of new bands. Very excited about this. You will see some Hordes X coverage and some Hordes X interviews coming soon to Ghost Cult, YouTube, and podcasts. Coming up this fall, after the summer's kind of winding down, Rocklahoma has Slayer doing their Rain and Blood set, as well as Godsmack, Papa Roach, STP, Hollywood Undead, Cypress Hill, Dropkick Murphys, Black Veil Brides, Wolf Mother in a rare festival appearance in the U.S. for them, Living Color, Black Label Society, The Pretty Reckless, Suicidal, Ugly Kid Joe, President, Il Nino, maybe, and more. Right. What else? AG is here. What's up, AG? And Rizzo Theo is here. What's up, Rizzo Theo? Riot Fest has announced their day schedules, and people are fucking big time mad because there's a lot of overlaps of big bands, and people are not happy about it. So Friday, let's just quickly look at the lineup. Friday's conflicts, definitely you have Rise Against kind of overlapping with Sex Pistols and Pixies overlapping with Iggy Pop and Gwar. I would personally want to see all those bands. The rest of the day doesn't look too bad. Maybe Bayside is kind of overlapping with Guttermouth if you like pop punk and emo. And Tricky is kind of playing opposite Bratmobile. That's kind of disappointing as well. But the rest of that Friday looks pretty decent. I could see a lot of running around, the more running around later in the day, the harder it is on your body at a festival. Take it from me. Saturday, I have these backwards. That's awesome. Saturday, Tool and Nas are competing. That's not great if you wanted to see both those artists in complete show. And Nas is a killer. I've seen Nas live, and he rules. And obviously, I'm a huge Tool fan, and I've seen them many, many times. Morrissey and Bad Religion seems like no contest for me to skip Morrissey. much as I love those songs. Chat Pile also playing at the same time as Go Go Bordello, not great. Sugar and the Descendants playing at the same time, also not terrific. And I think the rest of it is probably okay. Melt Banana is playing opposite the Chats. That's too bad because the Chats are killer. Afro Man also playing at the same time as Bad Religion and Morrissey. So weird. And then Sunday. Doesn't look too bad. I mean, if you're a fan of Elvis Costello, you're probably not a fan of ICP and Pierce the Veil, but I probably would leave after Alanis Morissette, by the way. But that looks pretty good. Patti Smith, Mom Jeans, Twin Peaks, The Format, Pennywise. Pennywise always plays Riot Fest, seems like every other year. Jejune in a rare festival appearance. That's kind of cool. We don't see them a lot out more these days. And then Louder Than Life. I know they've been touting this Louder Than Life lineup. Space Lobster is here. Explosion is here. What's up? This Thursday at Louder Than Life is insane. Iron Maiden, Pantera, Megadeth, Danzig, Anthrax, Sabaton, Machine Head. Oh my gosh. And then some other bands. Like, that's insane. The rest of the festival has My Chemical Romance, Pierce the Veil, The Pretty Reckless, Limp Bizkit, Sublime, Papa Roach, Baby Metal, Hailstorm, Tool, The Prodigy, Smashing Pumpkins, Gojira, Mastodon, Black Label Society, Death Clock. So, pretty damn rad. Never been, but we've covered it before. Mazur won't show. He won't show. He never shows. And if he shows, we should throw hot dogs at him, because fuck that guy. Fuck that guy. All right. And then Aftershock. I might be making my return to Aftershock this year. My Chemical Romance, Offspring, Limp Bizkit, Suicide Boys, Pierce the Veil, A Day to Remember, Tool, and Queens of the Stone Age are your main headliners. Friday has Limp Bizkit, Wu-Tang, Public Enemy, Cypress Hill, and ICP and POD all on the same couple of stages along with 3-6 Mafia. That's fucking insane, dude. No pun intended. Might return to Aftershock. We'll see. This just got announced, and this has got to be like the laziest poster I've ever seen. Town of Hardcore in Toronto in late October. I mean, this lineup is massive, and I could see it just being difficult to lay out. 100 bands on a flyer is like an eyesore for anybody, but this is some wild shit, to be honest. But let's just shout out some bands here. The pre-show on October 22nd is, let's see, Questmaster, Dungeon Troll, Haram, Sky Call, Hedonist, Laughing Corpse, Buff, some killer bands. Then the 23rd and 24th, 100 Demons, The Brink, Burning Lord, C4, Charade, Demonstrate, Discontent, Ethereal Tomb, Fatal Realm, Freeze Out, Friction, Fucked Up, who I love and they rarely play festivals, Missing Link, Mongrel, Terminator, TS Warp Sight, Wild Side, Wits End, Wreckage, Youth of Today. That's fucking insane. And I think there's an after show also with Fertilizer, Lotion, and Steroid. Pretty killer. All right, Toronto. This is the FYC Fest in Los Angeles late in the year. This is definitely a festival for domestic disputes and people on parole. Dying Fetus, Death Threat, Cro-Mag, Sea Haven, Fatal Realm, Foreign Hands, Bad Beat, Living Weapon, Strut, and more at the Belasco. This is just the first inclination laid to rest. This is the first announcement of many. SOS booking is kind of sketch, but you know, but this festival is legit. Vakken announced their 2027 festival, and people were big time mad, and we're going to talk about why. So, like, you know, you have to start understanding that, like, at this point in 2026, 2027, Iron Maiden is down to their last few years. Metallica is down to their last few years. Slayer is just around to do a handful of shows every year. We don't have headline bands anymore. Even the fact that we're getting Tool this year is impressive, as much as they've toured, and I think they're going to announce more tour dates soon. around those festival dates in the fall. But like people were like Electric Callboy, Death Punch, and Halloween are your headliners. But legitimately, you can't recycle the same headliners every year. You have to have room for new growth, or else you get stagnant and die. You know, just fucking wild. But anyway, the rest of this festival looks pretty damn good. Knock Loose, Heaven Shall Burn, Ed Guy, the reunited Children of Bodom, very controversial. We'll do a live stream on that soon. Dragon Force, Hammerfall, Hailstorm, Pure Swans, Death Clock, Beast in Black, Heaven's Gate, Cavaleras, Ginger, Udo Dirkschneider, Avatar, Napalm Death, John Bush doing his Anthrax set in Europe all next summer, Overkill, Blue Medusa, that is Elysia White-Cluse's band from Dragon Force, formerly of Arch Enemy, Make Them Suffer, Belphegor, Metal Church, Malevolence, Dark Tranquility, expect them to have a new record next year, Gaia, Primordial, Shadow of Intent, Carnifex, Creeper, Silosis, and many, Witch Club Satan, Killer New Band, and more. And this is pretty interesting. John 5 and Wednesday 13 are going to do a special set there, and I believe this will end up being not so exclusive. They're going to, I would imagine this will become a U.S. tour. John 5 doing the music across his whole career, so all his stuff with Zombie, all his stuff with Manson, all his stuff, I guess, some crew hits, and the DLR and other things he's done, with Wednesday doing the vocals. So actually, that sounds kind of cool, because I could see Wednesday doing all the Rob Zombie and Manson stuff without breaking a sweat. And I'm a big Wednesday 13 fan. This got announced for next year, Bucharest Death Fest with Severe Torture and Vomitory leading the way. Many more bands to be announced for this. And that is all the festival news. And now, hey, M. White City is here. Let's talk about some concerts. This is kicking off tomorrow. Dimmu Borgir, the Grand Serpent Rising North American Tour. Due to some visa issues, Hypocrisy is now not on the tour. Suffocation and Holder, I expect, will do the entire tour. Hoping to cover this in New York City with Omar for the first show tomorrow. We will see. He is in the thick of summer work. Tomahawk and Melvins continue their tour. They're coming to the West Coast next week, this weekend and next week. I'd like to go. I usually don't miss Melvins. I'd love to see Tomahawk. Been a minute since I've seen them. Let me know if you've seen them play. I'd like to go. Left to Die, I mentioned we just ran an interview with them. Here's their tour. They're in Europe right now, and then they're going to be doing some, hopefully, South American, Mexico, and USA dates soon. Freaks on Parade tour is already underway. Zombie, Manson, it's like, 2 more weeks. Sorry, Zombie, Manson, The Who, the Mongolian metal band, and Orgy. That's kicking off in West Palm Beach in 2 weeks from today. Uncle Acid and the Deadbeats already are on tour right now in Europe. They got a brand new album coming soon, and they are touring the U.S. with Mesa, and then they announced some additional tour dates of the UK with the Witches. So we will hope to get to cover some of these dates. They are playing like the worst sounding venue in San Francisco. I really want to see these two bands, but it's like, the sound sucks. And it's kind of a shit place to see a show. The Australian Pink Floyd, doing the Happiest Days of Our Lives Greatest Hits tour, hits the West Coast this weekend. They're actually playing, already hit the West Coast this week and this weekend. They're definitely worth seeing if you've never seen them. I don't know if we're going to get to go, but mayhaps. If not, we'll catch the next one. 6 Feet Under and Cataclysm are touring through the middle of August. Make sure you go see them. We covered that tour. I got very high marks from Omar. The Boat Looters Memorial Show, Gathering, and Concert outdoors in Chicago. Harm's Way, Twitching Tongues, Linda Claire, and many more. August 29th. Cannon Fieber, the German brutal death metal band, dropped a new single recently, and they've announced a bunch of tour dates for later this year. Friendship Commanders and Witch Ripper. You have seen me wear my Witch Ripper shirt sometimes. Friendship Commanders we interviewed earlier in the year. Pretty cool. They've got a run of dates in late September. This is Portrayal of Guilt. They've got some tour dates coming up soon in Europe and the US. This is pretty interesting. So this is the final tour leg for the Beat Tour. This is the members of King Crimson, Adrian Belew and Tony Levin, joined by Steve Vai. And for a whole year, they had Danny Carey of Tool on drums. And so they just announced this new run of dates with Terry Bozzio from Missing Persons and Korn Records and a bunch of other things he's done, and Oingo Boingo and things. And Terry is stepping in for Danny. And basically, if you kind of read into it, it's right around when Tool has a bunch of concerts, when I predict they will add some more tour dates to headline, as well as probable recording for a new Tool release. Now, the question is, will they settle for an EP? Will they write a whole album? I guess it just depends. But I'm kind of excited about this. They are playing the same weekend in Santa Cruz that Acid Bath show is that I've been talking about. So maybe we'll go down for a weekend or something. Soul Mirror is a Connecticut deathcore band. They just dropped a new single and a video, and they announced some additional tour dates coming up in the Southeast and the Northeast in August. Just for shits and giggles, I wanted to share this image of School of Rock. So Charlie XCX tweeted this week that, like, in 2003, they watched this movie like 100 times in a summer and was like, I'm going to get on stage. I'm going to sing. I'm going to play music. Hey, Gabe is here. What's up, Gabe? So if you ever think you can't do it, Charlie XCX watched School of Rock and saw little girls in the movie play instruments and play in a band and put on a show. You can do it too. It's never too late to follow your dreams. I'm a big believer in this. Even if you don't like Charlie XCX. I know it's not for this is not the genre show for Charlie, but I like Charlie. Just putting it out there. All right. Shout out to Fable Beard for keeping me smelling good and looking good. This awesome beard is brought to you by Fable Beard products. I am wearing my Fable Beard Marksman deodorant. I gotta make sure we pack it for my trip in the morning. And yeah, if you sign up with our link in the bio, you get $10 off your first purchase, and we get free merch. So definitely check it out. Also, we're part of the Lambgoat Media Network at this point. There's only a handful of games in town, and Lambgoat is one of them, and Ghost Cult is another. And we're going to talk about it in a minute. Lambgoat Media Network for all your needs for advertising. And also, once again, shout out to my dude, Craig Caruso, for keeping us in business, because we just couldn't do it without you, pal. And again, I'm doing this via StreamYard, except for you, TikTok, but I think we're going to switch to Riverside soon. But in the meantime, StreamYard. All right, and now it's time for the rest of the news rundown in a very manageable, rapid-fire style. And this was the story of the whole week, and people, the internet was broken by this. And I don't know how I feel, but Slipknot apparently kicked out Sid Wilson, and apparently this was coming for a long time. And it has to do with his personal behavior. The initial report came from TMZ, and I know what you're thinking, TMZ, but TMZ is not like the shitty, compared to the rest of the internet, TMZ is actually decent now. I hate to say it, but it's true. TMZ is actually a place you could actually, they're not going to just run a story without having sources and facts anymore. They used to. They used to be garbage. Now they're not. So I just want to, take it with a grain of salt. They had inside information that somebody leaked that Slipknot was dismissing Sid. And then Jim Root posted a picture from his pool in his house. Like, don't believe everything you read, but no other context. Sid was out and about in LA over the weekend, and people were asking him, hey, Sid, what's going on? And he didn't answer. He was mum. And he relaunched his merch shop for his own personal brand, nothing else. Weird. And then in a bunch of deleted posts, Kelly Osbourne flipped her shit about Sid in a series of posts and alluded to the fact that's why he was kicked out. And personal problems, drug problems, problems with her and their relationship and their child they share. And hopefully Sid is okay. We don't post stuff. We've only done like 5 retractions in 15 years. That's 5. Other websites post bullshit all the time, and people click, and believe on it. So this follows into my next story. But like this story has been wild to watch from the sidelines. Usually when the band does a lineup change or an announcement, it's ahead of a big news thing for the band. So when Craig Jones retired, Slipknot announced a bunch of future tour dates and merch things. When they added people to replace Craig, who are anonymous still to this day, unlike Tortilla Guy and V-Man, who are now kind of not full members but touring members. They announced a bunch of stuff. So I think we're going to get some Slipknot information soon, perhaps some shows for next year, but kind of wild that this has happened. And really, Clown is the only original member left after, really founding member, after Joey Jordison has passed away and he was kicked out of the band over 10 years ago. Paul Gray died, almost going on 15 years. And so Clown is the last clown standing of all the Slipknot clowns. And it's weird. It's definitely weird. Anyway. Then this thing happened. Oh, God. Where do I begin? So I got wind that this was happening about a day early. And there was no confirmation. Brooklyn Vegan, Revolver, Alternative Press, Goldmine are all owned by Veeps. And they laid off almost virtually their entire staffs. And they're all going to be replaced with kind of AI writing prompts. This is terrible. This is terrible for music journalism. This is like, Ghost Cult would never be as big as Brooklyn Vegan or Revolver, I don't think. But like, we are not corporate owned, but like, they were independent magazines for a long time, websites for a long time. Don't know if this includes Invisible Oranges, which is owned by Brooklyn Vegan. Maybe those guys could take back their ownership and stay afloat, but like, it's very hard to uncouple from a server or someone else who owns your website once someone owns it. Hey, Bangers and Mosh is here. Glad you guys are still around and for your podcast. But yeah, like, it's really hurtful to me that they were like, Brooklyn Vegan always championed metal. Revolver has been a hard rock and metal magazine originally since 1988 and relaunched the last 10 years plus. Alternative Press put metalcore on the map, for better or worse. And emo, a lot of bands you like were championed by these websites, and now they're gone. And maybe Invisible Oranges is going to be gone too. So I don't take pride in outlasting these companies. Like, we don't make a lot of money, and it's exhausting to do this much work to bring you this kind of show and bring you stories every day and make social posts and edit videos and do interviews and do my homework and research and read books and then write reviews. Like, it's exhausting. But I'm probably not going anywhere because I don't know what else to do with myself. This is my passion in life, is to, bring music to you and tell you what's cool and give you my opinion based on my whole life of being in music, especially this extreme music. But this is very sad to me. This is very sad to me. And this is after, whatever you want to say about them, Metal Sucks and Metal Injection had a bunch of layoffs just a few months back, and Metal Sucks is just ruined now. It's just garbage. And, Metal Injection is a shell of what it once was. Very sad. Very sad times. And this was the tweet that kind of kicked it off, that kind of confirmed it. Anyway, Hayley Williams of Paramore and her prodigious solo career, said like, oh, great, like another company bites the dust that we counted on and loved, a bunch of kitchens with no one who can cook. Anyway, moving on. Sleep announced their full-length upcoming new album. I'm still not sure how I feel about Sleep without Matt Pike and without Jason Roeder. Roeder is busy with Neurosis, who's clearly going to be doing a bunch of touring. GG fan is here. What's up, GG fan? But Sleep dropped a new single and announced their new album. So chances are I will probably review it. If someone else doesn't review it for Ghost Cult, I will. But yeah, not sure how I feel about the band without Pike. Cro-Mags finally announced their full re-recording of Age of Quarrel. Again, just Harley Cro-Mag and Cro-Mags. Harley also said at the end of this next couple of years of touring, he's going to probably step back from touring. Matt Cox is here. Mary is here. What's up? What's up? But of course, right on cue, JJ Cro-Mag, John Joseph said, this is fake. 4 people made that album, not one person re-recording it. And Harley made a good point. He's like, we never got paid for it. These guys can't ever agree to get together and patch it up, including him. Can't patch it up with the other guys. So I went in and re-recorded the whole album, and you can buy it from me. So at least, if you buy Age of Quarrel in this form, it's putting money in one Cro-Mag's pocket. But I could see why JJ was furious. More to come. 9 Inch Nails dropped a collab merch drop with Quake, the game, to celebrate 30 years of Quake. If you were a PC person in the 90s, probably with your Commodore 128 or your Apple IIe from the 80s, you might have played Quake. We used to play Quake on our Commodore 128 at my house. Merch drop. I don't necessarily need Quake merch, but it's cool that 9 Inch Nails did this. I would like to see Quake remastered vinyl. I feel like Trent put it out a while back, but could use a new version. This is pretty cool. Back in the 80s and 90s, we all know the story about Jason Newsted and Metallica, like his thing with Echo Brain not allowing him to be on a separate album, even though James and Lars were guests on albums all the time. So supergroups today and guest appearances on albums and things today can happen now at a much different level. So this is a new band, Gata Morta, have dropped a debut EP. Maybe I'll get a review up after the weekend. Burn Witch Burn. This, obviously, you see Buzz from the Melvins. J.D. Pincus used to be of Butthole Surfers. Cody Willis and Clinton Jacob of Mr. Files. Cody is, of course, a Big Business and Melvins right now. Got dropped through Amphetamine Reptile Records, which I'm a big fan of. Tom Hazelmeyer is the head of AmRep, which basically puts out Melvins-related things. Would be interesting to see. I love the artwork. I'm pretty sure this is a Mackie Osborne Melvins-related artwork thing. I would love to pick this up myself. Gotta see if they put out a vinyl version. Don't know, but looks cool. Definitely looks cool. But yeah, man, new supergroup unlocked. I'm into it. This is a surprise. Hippie Death Cult, who I just saw a few months back. Huge band I'm a huge fan of from Portland. Playing psychedelic and stoner rock and heavy as fuck. Signed to Blacklight Media Records. That is the sub-label for Metal Blade that has Gozu and Mother Feather and Last Tiger and a couple of other bands. So theoretically, Hippie Death Cult will have a new record hopefully in 2027 out on the same label that also has Mesa on Metal Blade and Gozu, and maybe those bands can tour the States together or something, because I'd love to see it. Love Hippie Death Cult. Mad love to y'all. They put on a tremendous show this spring when I saw them. This looks really cool. This is a Greg Allman and Allman Brothers documentary that is making the rounds and will soon hit the circuit. I'm hoping to get to see it and maybe interview the director. Greg passed away, pretty young, in his 60s, and we were probably robbed of a lot of great music. What else is happening? Bad Mary, the Long Island pop punk band, put out a new single and has some new album news. Debbie Harry is putting together a merch drop with Wild Fang. They do kind of high fashion. Blondie is basically retired. Debbie is basically not going to tour anymore. Hopefully, she might make another solo record. Be interesting to see if she calls it a day completely. I think the death of Clem Burke kind of shook her and Chris Stein pretty bad to their core about continuing the work. President put out a new song, a new album, debut EP, and tour dates coming soon. I still don't kind of get it or get the gimmick and the music don't seem to go together. Melissa and I had listened to and talked about this together, and I just don't get it. Like, it's not as compelling as Sleep Token, not as good as Ghost, not as, like, I just don't get it. If you have a gimmick, make the gimmick tie into the music. Breaking Benjamin, not my most favorite band, but they hit #1 for the 9th time with their new single. They have a new record coming out soon, too. This is the time when albums that are coming out late in the year get announced now for October, November, and then anything else that gets announced is usually either a December release because bands don't care or like that much about it, or they put them out in early January. Accept, here's that Accept news. Accept is celebrating 50 years as a band this year, and they are putting out a sort of collabs and duets record, and they just dropped a new version of their song Save Us, featuring Tobias Forge of Ghost, Frank Bello on bass from Anthrax, and Ray Luzier of Korn on drums, with the rest of Accept as well. Madden 27 dropped their upcoming soundtrack, and it's full of bangers. It's full of bangers. Madden game always has like hard rock and metal in the soundtrack. So I'm just starting to get excited about football. Still have baseball to think about for me. But and Anthrax's new album, Cursorium Perfecto, is coming out September 18th. They're going to do an in-store signing in Kentucky, as well as play at Louder Than Life. And they just dropped a brand new video earlier today. So I'm going to get that story up overnight and check it out, and I'll tell you what I think about it. I'm looking forward to interviewing the band. I threw my hat in the ring. We got interviews with them the last 2 times they put something out, so I would love to chat with them again. Yob will be hitting the studio soon for their finally record their new 2027 expected album. I interviewed Mike a couple of years ago, and he was like, I really couldn't do anything during the pandemic. I just felt like uncreative. And now that it was over, he was like, we're touring and we're getting our juices back flowing, and I can't wait to make new music. So I have just about every Yob album on vinyl, and I'm really excited to check it out. John Carpenter put out a brand new single. He has a new album coming out, and this was like his first official. He usually does like soundtrack stuff for his horror movies and synth-wavy kind of things, and kind of classical compositions, but this was like a legit metal song. And John Carpenter is a metal fan. Famously, his Ghosts of Mars album soundtrack is all metal. I think the band Anthrax was like his backing band for that record, where they collabed. I have that on vinyl here somewhere. Devin is here. What's up, brother? Good morning. You're up early or late? I can't tell. It's 11:24 on the West Coast, brother. How are you? I hope you're well with your lady and everything. I saw you doing some travel and other things. Keep me posted on that new music. I'm still waiting. Shout out to Super 7 for doing these incredible De La Soul 3 feet high and rising figures. They also recently put out a box set of A Tribe Called Quest figures and Beastie Boys figures. So they are crushing it with the hip-hop figures. And haven't seen a lot of rock and metal from them lately. Still kind of hoping someday they'll do a regular Metallica set or Megadeth set or Anthrax set, maybe even just the Not Man. We have some figurine and toy news coming up in a minute for the mailbag section. This is pretty cool. Stone Jesus is a band on Season of Mist Records. They announced a new album, put out a new song. Very excited for Stone Jesus. I've seen them live once. Greta Van Fleet announced their new album, The Palace of the People, and put out their new single. It was okay. I think the hype has died down about this band, and, hopefully for them, they're just kind of staying true to themselves. I know there was kind of 9:30 in the morning starting work, got the new EP coming out this week, and a show next Friday. Well, definitely DM me the details, my brother, and I'll see what I can do about smithing together a review or sticking it in a roundup review or something. I got a lot of plates spinning. But Greta Van Fleet, I was never huge on this band. We did a very early interview with them that still gets some hits on YouTube with Jake, the guitarist, 3 brothers and a friend. Sound a lot like Led Zeppelin. They say they're influenced by Grateful Dead. I don't hear it, but, good luck to them. I'm not rooting against them. I just don't love them, you know? Devil Masters, a band I do love, and they dropped a new single in a video. Good Lord. A lot of blood this week in your thumbnails. A lot of blood, Evie. Deceases is the Chilean death metal band featuring Miss World Chile, and they signed to Black Records. Black Records is a new label, sub-label of Frontiers SRL, and you know I'm a big fan of it. The new Megadeth record came out on that label this year. The new Biohazard record came out late last year on that label. New Forbidden is coming out. Creeping Death. I'm here for it. Recent Nunslaughter record was tight. Deceased, basically, in Spanish. Silver Tomb is a super group featuring Johnny and Kenny from Typo Negative and Sun Don't Shine, some of the guys from Inhuman, and more. And they are kind of a low-key super group, and they dropped a new single, and they have a new album coming out this fall. I'm super excited about it. Spooky and Jesse Cat Tarot is here. What up, what up? Appreciate everybody that's watching from all over. Super cool. North Lane announced a new album, Anemonia, sort of a portmanteau of anemone and ammonia. Dropped their title track. We're big fans of the Australian metalcore band. I've interviewed Marcus, their lead singer, before. Looking forward to talking to them yet again. Very cool stuff from North Lane. New Prong self-titled album coming soon. Dropped the first single, The Banner. They announced some tour dates too. Love Me Some Prong and Tommy Victor. The Danish death metal band, what is it? Oh my god, I can't believe I'm blanking on their name. Dawn of Ashes, there it is. Dawn of Ashes announced a new album and dropped a new single that's coming out on Unique Leader Records, usually known for your techie death metal bands. Very cool. And that's all the news. Let's talk about the ass clown of the week. And man, I'm going to take a sip of drink for this one. You know, I talked about Luke Heller at the top of the show. And, you know, hardcore punk. It's weird to me that a lot of guys who were punks and hardcore band guys from the 80s and 90s are such bootlicking from Magnum Nimrods. And I really thought that a lot of these guys were elevated mentally, but a lot of them aren't. As you're finding out, as they get older, they get like water on the brain or you know, just kind of fucking dumb. So this popped up this week. And look, man, like I know some of these guys are not readers. You know what I'm saying? Lou was thoughtful and smart and kind, and not everybody is cut from the same cloth or mold, right? But this really fucking pissed me off. So, like, when a hardcore band has like some boomer fucking takes, I don't take it personally. I expect that I'm pretty liberal. I'm more liberal than the liberals television is warning you about. And I'm proud of that fact, and that's just built into my personal belief system. And I don't demand you agree with me on all of my beliefs because I'm pretty far-flung on my beliefs. But when a hardcore guy has like some boomer-ass takes, I don't take it personally. I just like, oh, that's interesting. What a dummy. But then to like double down, you know, a lot of these bands don't have publicists or anything. So here's the story. Marauder, Long Island hardcore band. They have no original members. You know, Jorge Rosario is their singer. He was in El Nino when it was El Nino. He's been kind of a sketchy guy. Marauder has covered like Nazi songs. They had all brown guys in the band. I don't know why you would cover like a Screwdriver song if you have all brown guys, mostly brown guys from Long Island, from the hood. You know, Hempstead and shit is the ghetto. And like why you would rep that shit, but okay. And so he's been posting a lot of wacky shit on his Facebook and his Instagram. It's his business. I don't care. It doesn't affect me. Master Killer is a good album. I know he did Hard Lore a couple of months ago, and they were gassing him up before Bo passed away a while back. But like, you know, I don't expect this guy to be reading Chaucer and Dickens to me. You know, he's not the brightest tool out there. So he was posting some radical shit. You know, very transphobic stuff, which I'm against, and very anti-Muslim stuff, which I'm personally against. And then, like, the promoter of the show called him out and said, like, look, we can't cancel the show because people are depending on their living and they're depending on these jobs and they're depending on the show we already booked. But, like, we don't support this guy. And then he doubled and tripled down about the controversy. Like, shut the fuck up, go play your show and get out of town. Sell your shirts, make your money. You sold out a show, good for you. You're a fucking knucklehead, and just pick it up and go. You don't have to keep doubling down. None of these guys took any media training and know when to shut the fuck up. And I don't care about a reprisal because, like, I'm not afraid of hardcore thug dudes, and they don't affect me. But, like, you know, when we were in New York or Boston, you could see some violent shit at a hardcore show. And, like, ultimately it should be about the music, and you should kind of shut the fuck up about your personal takes that don't affect your life for real. If you have these biases, you know, don't be fake and don't keep them to yourself, but, like, you do better off posting less and playing more shows and shutting up. But yeah, Ask Clown of the Week, Jorge, like, disappointing, and then the double and triple down is fucking whack, bro. But okay. We don't accept that, but whatever. Anyway, moving right along to the New Music Friday. New Music Friday this week, there's quite a few good new records out. And I'm going to read through the list for you, and we're going to talk about them. And talk about what we covered. Every week, Ghost Cult runs a list of New Music Friday and posts you can share, and then, things you can do. All the lists you can, records you should be picking up and spinning, all that jazz. So I'm going to just read off the thing to you. Here's the records that are coming out this week. It's the soundtrack to your chaos. Here's new records that are coming out this week. 10,000 Years, SOX Lucifer for some stoner rock on Ripple Music, great label. Citizens, Halcyon Blues on Run for Cover Records, more stoner rock and psychedelic rock and doom. Crumbling Ghost 4 on New Heavy Sounds for some heavy metal. Dark Plague Masquerade on Fetzner Death Records for some death metal. The Entwehung, Worldwide Terror on Morbid and Miserable records for some black metal. Din of Celestial Birds, Takeoffs and Landings on Big Scary Monsters records for some more black metal. Dimmelofta Virage on Prophecy Productions for some avant-garde atmospheric music. Electric Homeboy's new record, Tanzine, on Century Media Records for some kind of, like, I don't know what you would call them. They're metal, but they're also dancey and fun. Flowers of Rust Crude Exhibitions of the Soul on Apocalyptic Witchcraft Records. The Hollywood Vampires live at Montreux Jazz Festival on Ear Music for some hard rock. That's Johnny Depp, Joe Perry, Alice Cooper. Holder, Weber Golden on 20 Buck Spin for some black metal. The Iron Roses, Molotov Nights, self-released for some rock. Negative Frame, Break the Ice on Blood Blast Distro for some metal. Phantom Corporation and Cat Breath Split. Commando and Die by the Claw on Supreme Chaos Records. The Sorrow of Being Immaculate, great name for a band. Long Summertime Burial of Hope on Drone Alone Records. I think that's a solo black metal project. Toto Mal, Graveyards of Joy on Season of Mist for some atmospheric black metal. And then a bunch of tribute records. Cathedral of Smoke, a tribute to Sleep on Witching Buzz Records. Death metal tribute to Ozzy on Death Metal Records. A few more records to go. Vertignius, Incessant Affliction on Comatose Records for some death metal. Wormwood, AP for Sound Pollution Records. And Xandria for some symphonic German metal. Eclipse out on Napalm Records. Now it's time for the mailbag. And the mailbag this week is my new Ghost Funko. I checked one a few weeks ago. I had ordered both of these Papa Funkos kind of near each other, but if you watch the Glacially Musical podcast this week, I talked about going to the AC/DC pop-up, and there'll be a video and some other website collateral on this, but I got this awesome Bon Scott bobblehead that AC/DC is selling. This is selling for $250 on eBay. I don't know why, when it's readily available from AC/DC for $25. Fucking weird. People are fucking weird on the internet. I know everybody is trying to get over. But anyway, I got this Funko Papa Batwing Papa Perpetua V. Thanks to everybody watching as I unbox this awesome new Funko. I know Funko and Super 7 have had to like raise their prices and they're struggling, and the cost of importing stuff has gone up thanks to the orange president. But I'm still a big kid at heart. I'm going to be 54 next month in 6 weeks, 6 or 7 weeks, and I still like these toys. They mean a lot to me. You can check out this Batwing Papa. He is great looking, beautiful attention to detail with the cape and the sparkly bat wings. Really cool. See if you can see this well, positively enough here. Very cool, right? Super excited about these. These two guys are going to go on my shelf. I'm super stoked for this, man. And that is, oh, thank you, Gabe. I appreciate you, man. That is our show in a very manageable 1 hour and 1 minute. I am signing off. I'll put up some stories overnight. There'll be some social posts and stories all weekend, but I'm Keith at GhostCultMan.com. Once again, considering everything that happened this week with Brooklyn Vegan and Revolver and Alternative Press and Goldmine and maybe Invisible Oranges, my heart goes out to all those people who lost their jobs. We are building a community here, a DIY music journalism community built on giving you free information and news and tour dates and coverage and interviews with bands. And it takes a lot to do this. And I'm going to do it until I can't do it anymore, until they put me in the ground or burn me up and put me in an urn. So, as always, I say it every week at the juncture of the show. It's a tough time in the world. So please take care of yourselves, take care of each other, stay as metal as humanly possible. And I'll see you guys out there. Don't drink and drive, and have a good weekend. Peace.